There's a couple of things I wanted to show you really quickly about lifting a vehicle. First of all, there's a couple of adjustments that you can do on the pads. So these pads here, you can twist them, and you see how they roll up, and then you can lower them down as well. The other thing with this style of hoist is we've got adapters that you can install to accommodate running boards and different things like that. So we're going to use the adapters on this vehicle just so you can see how it works. And then also the arm slides in and it also slides out. Sometimes you have to kind of lift up on the arm in order to move it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the lifting points, which we've already looked up in the service information. So we'll move the hoist arms in and then position the pad so that they contact on this particular hoist or this particular vehicle. We're going to lift on the frame. And so what I want to do is I want to put the pads just straight in line with the frame. And I want to lift on this particular vehicle. I want to lift as close to the shackle as I possibly can. And so that looks like it's about right there. We'll know for sure when we go to lift up the vehicle. So let's position the front arms. Okay, so my front arm is positioned where it needs to be, and I'll go position the ones on the other side of the vehicle the same way. Okay, I've got the pads lifted up, or the pads positioned on both sides of the vehicle. So what I'm going to do now is lift the vehicle, and I'll show you where the lift controls are in just a minute. But what we're going to do is we're going to operate the hoist and lift it up to where it just about contacts the frame of the vehicle, and we want to make sure that all of the hoist pads are positioned where they need to be. So you'll need to look on both sides of the vehicle. Okay, to make the hoist go up and down, what we're going to do is this green button right here, is we push that to make the hoist go up, and this button here is you pull this to let the hoist go down. And this knob over here is to release the safety locks that are going to engage when we lift it all the way up in the air. So once we've got the vehicle lifted up, and if you notice, I've got the wheels just off the ground, what we're going to do is we're going to shake the vehicle, going to jounce the vehicle and give it a good shake, make sure it's good and solid, and then we'll lift it all the way up. So it's always a good idea to make sure that there's nobody around when you're lifting it up. So it's a good idea to just yell clear before you lift up the vehicle. And then we're going to go ahead and lift it all the way up. You hear those clicks. Those are the safety locks that are engaging. Okay, I've reached the top. And so once it's gone all the way to the top, now I can take my lever right here that I showed you earlier and lower the vehicle down. So you just gently open that up and it'll come down to rest on the locks. A couple of things I wanted to show you really quickly. I think I can raise the camera up enough that you can see it. But when you're using these hoists and that bar that goes across the top, if you see that, the gray padded bar that goes underneath the blue bar, what that is, that's a safety stop. So if you're raising a vehicle up, if the roof of the vehicle hits that bar, it's going to stop the hoist. So as you're raising the vehicle, you want to keep an eye on things and make sure that nothing is going to hit the vehicle as you go up. And once you've got the vehicle up in the air, now you can walk around underneath the vehicle and you can check everything. If you notice where we've got our lift pads, so you can see where our lift pads are right on the frame. So in good position, so we don't have to worry about this vehicle falling. So there's that one, and we'll show you the last one over here, and we're good to go. And so now to lower the vehicle, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to push the safety locks down and the hydraulic release at the same time. Before we do that, what we have to do is we have to raise the vehicle up and get it off the safety latches, and then we'll have to do both of these at the same time. So as I lower the vehicle down, what I'm doing is I've got the vehicle raised all the way up off from the safety locks. I'm going to pull down on the safety lock handle all the way down, and then I'm going to release the hydraulic pressure. And there again, you want to do it slowly, and then allow the vehicle to come on down. If we take a look at the vehicle as it's coming down, now I haven't lowered it all the way down yet. It's still coming down, and once I lower it down to the point where the tires are on the ground, and then you see the suspension settling and the vehicle is coming down. So right about the time that the chassis stops lowering, I stop. And that is so that if I'm not finished working on the vehicle, I don't have to reposition the hoist. I can just lift it right back up because the lifting points haven't changed. So if I was to lower this all the way down, so I lower the arms all the way down to where the arms are on the ground. So right there. Now when I lift the vehicle back up, I've got to get down on my hands and knees and make sure that those arms are in the place that they're supposed to be. But if you stop right there where I showed you, and then you can continue working on the vehicle, and don't lower the hoist all the way to the floor until you're completely finished working on the vehicle. Now I'm going to take you around. I'm going to show you a couple of the different controls on some of the other hoists. This is one of our other hoists here, and this one has ambidextrous controls on it, so you can control it from either the right side or the left side of the lift. Pretty easy. You set the arms up just like I showed you in the last segment of the video, and then you're going to push the up button for the up, down button for the down, and to lower onto the locks, once you've got the vehicle all the way up, you push this button and it brings the car down onto the safety locks. And then if you want to lower the vehicle all the way, all you have to do is lift up a little bit and then go down. And so that's the way you would do that. And then if you walk over here to the other side, if you notice, we have the same controls on the right or the left side of the hoist as we do on the right. So this is another type of hoist that you'll have to drive a vehicle on. This is a drive-on hoist. This one I would recommend you do not try to drive on this without somebody spotting you, because you do not want to drive and fall into the pit in the middle. So not a good idea. Once you've got the vehicle on this hoist, it needs to be in park with the park brake set. And then you can come over here to the hoist controls, and you've got a raise button and a lower button, and then the lock release over here. So what you're going to do is you're going to raise it up. Once you raise it up, if you notice it's beeping, it's going to continue beeping until you lower it down onto the locks and that orange triangle goes away. Then you can release the lower button. Now to lower it down, there again, raise it up, release the locks and lower it. So you notice it started beeping at me, and that's because I hadn't lowered it all the way. So you need to make sure that you push the lower button until that orange triangle goes away, and then it won't beep at you anymore. And that's how you operate this hoist. This is our other drive-on hoist, and very similar to the in-ground, but this one is above ground. And there again, do not pull on this one unless you have a spotter. So now to operate this one is very similar to the other hoists that we previously looked at. So we've got an up and down button right here, and we've got a lower button right here, and I'll show you the locks. The locks are these little serrated things up here, and that is the lock. This piece right here is going to be the lock. So let's raise the hoist up a little bit so we can see how those locks work. Okay, we've got it up above a couple of locks there, so now what we'll do is we'll lower it down onto the safety locks, and that's where it's going to stay. So it won't come down after that. Now, if you notice, here's our safety lock right up here, and what we're going to need to do in order to lower that is we've got to lift the hoist up a little bit, and then we'll move this and then lower the hoist down. So let's lift up the hoist. Until the lock is released. So if you notice, it's released up there. So you just push this forward and it stays out of the way, and now you can go ahead and lower the hoist down. So to lower the hoist down, all we have to do is pull in the lowering button and the hoist goes down.